The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Our next marquee event is California Breeders' Champions Night on Saturday, July 27th, with $600,000 in purse money on the line. The Governor's Cup Futurity will be headed by fastest qualifier favorite Jess Hawk, while the Governor's Cup Derby will feature top sophomores, plus the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap for top older horses, and the Rolling A Ranch Matron Stakes for distaffers. It's going to be a great night of quarter horse racing. The best of racing always at Los Alamitos. Racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos Racecourse, the Los Alamitos Early and Late Pick Fours. Both wagers continue to feature outstanding pools. The Early Pick 4 pool was over $213,000 on May 5th, and the Late Pick 4 pool was over $190,000 on May 19th. And remember, Los Alamitos still offers the Pick 6 promo on Sundays if there's not a carryover. Year after year, night racing's best bets are at Los Alamitos, Saturday and Sunday nights.
And welcome to the Los Alamitos preview show, joined here by George Duarte, the trackman here at Los Alamitos for Equibase, and of course, Chris Wade, the host of the satellite broadcast show. Michael Wrona will join us later on the show. But first of all, how are you, George? How are you, Chris? George, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I enjoyed the vessel's maturity last week. It was good to see Empressum still got it. You know, you're always concerned when they turn another year older and then they come back. Are they going to be the same or not? And it was good to see him being still the same old Empressum.
Chris, you're still the same year after year, selecting winners. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, boss. As noted by George, great to see Empressum come back. And I was talking to someone related and connected with the barn. And they told me that Empressum was coming back just as good as ever. They said his turn of work was gigantic under a guzzle, and so very impressive. And he said this horse has been doing it since he was a youngster, and he keeps getting better and better. And he just loves his job, and he continues to show it. And so impressive, Empressum was very impressive performance. Of course, Jericho broke well, was right there throughout, just couldn't keep up with his stablemate Monster.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Heath Taylor after that terrific performance of Empressum. Here he is telling us all about the 2022 world champion who looks just as good this year.
You know, you get up and do this 7 days a week all your life, and you just don't get horses like this. It's been I'm running out of superlatives. You know, the horse is coming off 5-6 month layoff. He's coming in without a gate work. Just could go on and on and on, and he's just an incredible horse and just keeps going. I think that the rest and spreading the races out is a key. We took him home and went over him, and it just really I have a lot of words. You know, I thought that my other horse Jericho run a phenomenal race. It's a super horse, a great grade 1 horse, and you know, run really good. It's a 440 horse as well, and just blessed. And you know, I think that the main thing that comes to mind right now is just thankful. You know, you don't get horses like this, and one of the whole keys when the horse very first came out here those 24 months ago, we thought we had a really special horse after his Derby year, was to prolong the career of the horse and make the horse last. And I think you all do as good a job or better than anyone as far as the surface like this at this point in time. Although you have to have money to pay bills, it's not any at all about the money. It's more about as long as he enjoys it, as long as he's running at the top level, and being here at Los Alamitos, not having to travel all around the world for every single out, I think has helped prolong that, especially with the good surface. So we're just blessed to have a place. When he first came out, we wanted to try to program his career kind of somewhat to refrigerators as how they managed him, not necessarily the exact races. And that's been kind of the prototype. And, I don't know exactly where, but I think now the horse is just starting to get in the echelon of the talk about some of the few best horses that's ever ran.
Oh, by winning this race, Empressum joins the top echelon in the Vessel's maturity running. He's now won this race 3 years in a row, matching the great A Ransom as horses that have won this race 3 straight years, 3 times overall. A Ransom, and of course, Keith Taylor mentioned Refrigerator, the great Refrigerator, and what a career he had. He won the All-American Futurity and then went on to run in the Champion of Champions a bunch of times, winning the race 3 times as well. What a great horse Refrigerator was, and what a tremendous horse Empressum is really developing into. George, in Oklahoma, there's a really nice older horse by the name of Just Good Wine. He's been the top horse in Oklahoma, won the Remington Park Championship, won a couple of other stakes races there this meet, won the Texas Classic Derby, I believe, last year as well. You gotta be thinking about maybe a future matchup somewhere along the line against Empressum with Just Good Wine.
Yeah, he's on a 4-race win streak. He actually beat Flashback last out in the Debbie Schaaf Invitational, and also Hooked and Gone, who also competed in the Champion of Champions. So, I mean, he already beat the horse that beat Empressum last 2 times. So, he has case right now to say he's the best older horse, and hopefully, he shows up in the All-American Gold Cup, rematches against Flashback, see how that goes, and then maybe heads out even more west to take on the champion Empressum.
Yeah, you're always thinking of dream matchups. That certainly would be one between the great Empressum and the outstanding Just Good Wine. This weekend of action here at Los Alamitos, because of course we have the Wiener Nationals here on Saturday night. A record number of dachshunds will be here for the 27th running of the Wiener Nationals. 124 dogs racing. We're going to have 14 races. We're going to have the diaper dash for little ones, the long in the tail for some of the more experienced dogs, and of course the title of fastest wiener in the West. It all gets started here at Los Al at 6:30 p.m. First post of the live races is at 6:10 p.m. here at Los Alamitos. And let me tell you, I've been watching some of these some of these wiener dogs train. And there's some really good ones. Race number 9 is one race that stands out because Beanie Von Weenie, the reigning champion, the reigning fastest wiener in the West, may have some competition. There's a doggy from Vancouver, Canada, that has flown in. His name is Dijon Mustard. And let me tell you, I saw him this morning on Telemundo when we were doing a few hits here for the local TV station. And Dijon Mustard reminds me a little bit of Baby Bo, the 3-time champion of the Wiener Nationals, just the way that how quick he is, his sleek body. That's going to be quite a race in the 9th trial of the Wiener Nationals, Von Weenie against Dijon Mustard. And let me tell you, Chris, there is a dog named Chili Dog in this race, and I know how much you like the Chili Dogs here at Los Al, so hunch bet for you on the Wiener Nationals.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that dog I'm gonna give him a look. Give him a look in that race.
There's a chorizo in that's gonna be running there. There's a hot burrito. There's a cheese, or there's a cheddar. I believe that's her name, Cheddar. So a lot of nice, fun names here to take a look at later this weekend. So Chris, we'll be talking to you in just a bit. George, we'll be right back and talk a little bit about Saturday's racing program here at Los Al.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Our next marquee event is California Breeders' Champions Night on Saturday, July 27th, with $600,000 in purse money on the line. The Governor's Cup Futurity will be headed by fastest qualifier favorite Jess Hawk. while the Governor's Cup Derby will feature top sophomores, plus the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap for top older horses, and the Rolling A Ranch Matron Stakes for distaffers. It's going to be a great night of quarter horse racing. The best of racing always at Los Alamitos.
We're back here with the preview show at Los Alamitos. Saturday's racing card, George. 8 races on tap, starting at 6:10 p.m. And I know you're always looking for a good price play here at Los Alamitos. Anything that stands out for you on Saturday night?
Well, first things first. I gotta know what saddle cloth did Dijon Mustard get? Did he happen to get the 4 to match with the name?
Dijon, that's a great question. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember what.
Well, I'll look out for that. Hopefully he did. Then Von Weenie might be in for trouble if he ended up getting the 4 saddlecloth being named Dijon Mustard.
Yeah, that's a nice look at that. I think he's on the inside, and I'm pretty sure Beanie is on the outside in that race. So Beanie is super fast out of the gate, but he gets distracted really quick. So
the outside might be a problem with all the crowd. You think he might get distracted?
I don't want to say anything, but that he could be going for his second championship if in 2022 he doesn't get kind of distracted a little bit at the end, and Paisley comes and gets him at the wire. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Dijon Mustard's to his inside. We'll find out. We'll find out on Saturday night. Back to the racing action, though. Anything that stands out for you on Saturday?
I like a horse in the 7th race. Usually, when I look at the sequence, I like to see what favorites I can attack and try to beat. And the favorite in that race, I feel very vulnerable. Was a disappointing favorite last out. And it wasn't a straight maiden ranks, but had no excuse and just tired. And I don't like the regression and finish in their last 3 races. If you look at it, it's number 6, Poetic Myths.
Okay, so we're looking at race 7 here. Post time for this race, 9:41 p.m. And there's Poetic Myths at 5-2. And your choice in this race, again, who is it?
It is the homebred from Heath Taylor, Wolf, directly to the outside of her. And another thing I like as a plus is typically Ruben Lozano. If you notice these jockeys, they usually have a tendency to break in or break out. And Ruben is one of the ones that likes to break in more. So then that's good news to be on the outside of him. So, and then she also gets draws next to a slow breaker in Hunter Girl. So I think she's drawn perfectly on the outside, and her debut I thought was better than looked.
And this is a claiming race, and I know you did a little bit of homework here on Heath Taylor in claimers. Yeah,
in the last 2 years, because I rarely see him in claimers, even like in Remington or Ruidoso. So I looked at it. I want to see how many claimers he's had. He's only had 7 starts in claiming races in the past 2 years. But it's not a concern for me because the horse is a homebred. They just want to get wins. They're just looking. They already right off the bat they put her in a maiden claimer, so they already knew what they kind of had so far. So I'm not concerned. I don't see that as a big negative.
And the breeding lines on Wolf familiar, right?
Yeah, she's a half sister to VF Bonafide.
Yeah, a horse that I know you've been a fan for a long time with that horse. We've actually talked about that horse a lot because he definitely is a talented horse. VF Bonafide. He's run some nice races.
Yeah, I don't know who frustrates me more, the Raiders or VF Bonafide. He has all the talent. If you watch him like early on, he showed really good talent, and then I don't know what happened. He just started being a head case and either acts up in the gate or gets out weird, or last week he ducked out. But then if you see him, he has full of energy. He hasn't even given all he's given that he has. So I feel like if he can get a 400 or somehow a 550 to go, and he enters in that, I think he will show. Maybe that'll get him back into form. Being able to go longer and fully stride out, and then like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to do things, instead of these shorter races where by the time he's starting to figure it out, the race is over. So he's not really gaining anything out of them.
Okay, and while we wait, via Bonafide's next move, how we take a look at Wolf's next move, which will happen here on Saturday night. Remind the viewers again what post position if Wolf's breaking.
She was in post 4, and if you see that she was looking around, green, it's her debut. She doesn't really know what's going on. Reacts to the horse breaking in on her, and she just shifts in and bumps her rival there early. Asked here, drifted out a little bit, then asked again here past the 16th, and you see her respond. And if you see the gallop out, she gallops out past the 6 pretty quickly. So, I think she has a lot more to give. She galloped out good. So, taking the dropping class, isn't really facing any world beaters. Draws well, I think, and a good price. This isn't the favorite. And I think this pick 4 sequence is, one that can pay. I see, I think all the favorites are vulnerable in the sequence. So it's one to go after.
Yeah, and you even see that Jose Nicasio is himself a little bit knocked off the saddle a little bit when that bumping is going on. So he even had to kind of resettle himself before he was really able to get Wolf going. So, there's a lot to see where Wolf can improve off of that effort. And again, that gallop out really, really nice. So definitely a horse to watch here in race number 7. Again, remind the viewers of the odds on Wolf.
7-2 on the morning line.
Okay, 7-2 on the morning line for Wolf coming up here on Saturday night. And George, again, this weekend being the Wiener Nationals here at Los Alamitos, you're a young man. You probably were a young kid when we ran the first ever running of the Wiener Nationals. Do you remember the first early runnings of this race?
I remember it when I used to come during the daytime, and then there was just one time where people kept bringing in their dogs, and I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't really aware of the nighttime festivities. So then I think either my mom or somebody asked them, like, what's the dogs here for? And then that's when we found out about it. And I think we stayed and watched, and I don't think I've missed one since. I know what Curtis, been on the show. His friend actually won one. I can't remember the name of the one, but it was one of the early ones.
Spike.
Yeah.
Christensen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that now, all these years later, you're basically my photo finish guy on the Wiener Nationals. If there's a race that's too close to call, you're the one that I call to help me out from the top level out there and let me know who actually crossed the wire first. We had to do it once last year, and of course the previous year in the final when Beanie Von Weenie, kind of went a little nuts at the
because you don't know where they're going to go. They get spread out really wide, and it's hard to, if you're looking at one, you can't be looking at the other. It's kind of hard. So from my view, I got a good view right over the finish line.
We're going to be testing now Michael Wrona this Saturday night. Well, George, thank you so much for joining the show. I know we missed you last week. You were probably getting your tickets to the the South Bay Lakers, with Bronny James. I don't know if he's going to play there, right? He'll probably just go straight into the big team with the Lakers.
I think mid-season he probably ends up there. I think they're just going to let him be with the real team early, and then they'll give him playing time over there. If he keeps letting me cash on the unders, I might go visit him. Thank him.
Always looking for an angle, and you found that angle. The unders on Bronny James.
Absolutely. I'm always trying to find one.
All right, very good. Well, thanks so much for joining the show, and we'll be right back with Michael Wrona and Chris Wade. Thank you so much, George.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Our next marquee event is California Breeders' Champions Night on Saturday, July 27th, with $600,000 in purse money on the line. The Governor's Cup Futurity will be headed by fastest qualifier favorite Jess Hawk, while the Governor's Cup Derby will feature top sophomores, plus the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap for top older horses, and the Rolling A Ranch Matron Stakes for distaffers. It's going to be a great night of quarter horse racing. The best of racing always at Los Alamitos.
And we're back on the show, joined by Michael Wrona. Michael, we had a chance to hear from Heath Taylor talking about Empressum's tremendous victory in the Vessel's Maturity. You had a chance to call the race. Your thoughts on that incredible race?
Yeah, well, Heath must have been grinning after the first second of the contest, Orlando, because of how beautifully and cleanly Empressum and Jericho broke. I mean, if there was anything to worry about with them, it was the fact that neither had a gate work, and that on occasion it's been an issue. The getting out of the gate cleanly and on terms with the field. But as soon as they did, you knew that they were ready to run their race, put their best hoof forward. And even though Empressum's halfway through his 6-year-old season, he's still the best horse in the land. I'm a huge fan of Jericho. I have friends who drove from Santa Rosa to Los Alamitos to see that race. And specifically, one of them is a huge fan of Jericho. And he had his chance, but he couldn't match it with Empressum, and neither could London Toby. And it's just amazing, isn't it, to see him performing at this level. And making it a record equaling third Vessel's Maturity win.
Yeah, he won his first Vessel's Maturity in 1932. That was the time. Second time that he won it was 1930. And now his third victory in the Vessel's Maturity, 1937. So, I mean, not much difference in times in those 24 months that have passed. Empressum just continues to deliver big race after big race. And like you mentioned, Jericho with a nice flair out there at the end. In London Toby with some nice early speed early on. It looked like he was going to make it interesting early on before Empressum started to get ahead, and then it was Jericho that closed the best of the two of them between London Toby and Jericho. Well, Michael, we have a busy Saturday of fun here at Los Al. Of course, the Wiener Nationals. We're going to keep you busy with 124 doxies out there in an 8-race program starting at 6:10 p.m.
Yes, it's, well, there's no respite coming off 3 weekends of double duty, let's put it that way, because Saturday night will be even more intense in a sense, because everything's going to be crammed into the one evening card, both horse races and the Wiener Nationals. I won't have time to scratch myself.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of scratching going on. Plenty of that down below with all those doxies down there. Well, Michael, let's take a look at the Saturday action here at Los Al. And I know you have a horse to watch, a nice selection here for the fans on Saturday.
Oh, I thought I'd try a hook race, going round the turn to a 1,000-yard race, the third on Saturday night, an allowance for non-winners of 3. And I'm pretty keen on the 9-2 morning line that Ed Burgart has put up next to Lawless World, number 6, who last time out competed in that rich stakes race. The 1,000-yard stakes race was never a factor in that race. But what we'll do, Orlando, is check out his race from Tubac on the 2nd of June, when the start proved very costly. He ended up a close third, and he was clearly best on that occasion versus a couple of opponents in this race Saturday night. And I think there's a fair bit to like with Edgar Payeras riding for the first time.
Okay, here's race number 3 on June 2nd. Lawless World breaking from post number 6. Michael, you can walk me through the race?
He was slowly away and he veered outwards a few paths, gets straight back to the tail of the field and spots them a healthy start. He's a big horse, but I liked the way that he was comfortable and confident in moving between horses around the turn, ultimately switching inside the top 2 finishers down the home stretch. He actually, for a big horse, he gets around this tight track very well. He broke his maiden here. He subsequently won an allowance here. On both occasions, showing plenty of early speed. So he can get out of the gate and race much handier than he did on this occasion. You can see him making a nice move here, getting up to 3rd into the stretch, the white with the black cap, and then cutting inside. And he gets very close to the top 2, comes up just a trifle short, but you'll get a glimpse of him on the gallop out, on the turn out of the stretch. He goes past those 2 horses and he's in front, and there's no question in my mind that the start cost him the victory.
Yeah, and if you look back at his form, you can see that he's won a couple of races. He won a race, I believe, at 1,000 yards, going back to January 21st of this year. So he's had success here at Los Alamitos. He actually has another victory here at Los Al back in October. So this horse certainly knows how to handle this 1,000-yard distance. Has had success here at Los Al, and I like the selection here of in race 3 or number 6, Lawless World. What about the rest of the field, Michael?
Well, there's a couple of horses from the race we just showed you who are up against him again on Saturday night. West Coast Gangster number 4 and Charming Roy number 3 on Saturday night. I've got to think, based on what we just saw, that Lawless World has them covered. He has also beaten home the 5-horse Conk Daddy on a couple of separate occasions. So the big queries for me are the inside 2, which are the top 2 on Ed Burgart's morning line. Number 1, Res Ipsa Loquitur, claimed out of a daytime race at Los Al just a week ago and was narrowly beaten as an odds-on favourite on that occasion. This will be the first try on the tighter nighttime circuit, and the horse does have gate 1. So, maybe it's slightly uncomfortable for the rail horse. And the number 2, Immelman, won his first start at Los Al last time out, but in moderate time. He beat Chivago by a nose, and he can move forward with that experience on the track. Full marks to him for winning his first local start. But based on the times that Lawless World has run in the past, he can go faster than Immelman did. So, they figure, but I'm not particularly scared. I think 9-2 from the outside post with Pieris on board is attractive for a horse who's already shown that he can race effectively on the pace at this 1,000-yard trip at Los Alamitos.
Yeah, and you'll be hard to find riders more consistent here at Los Al since we started racing these 1,000-yard events than Edgar Payeras. Trainer Adam Farias has had success races around the turn as well, and David Hinkins was our co-leader in the mixed horse division a couple of years ago. So good connections here. Edgar Payeras looks like he's sitting on a very live mount here in race number 3, number 6, Lawless World. Michael, it's going to be a tremendous weekend of action here at Los Alamitos. Really appreciate you joining the show because I know you have a lot to do, a lot of work, especially on Saturday night.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of prep work to be done for the Wiener Nationals. I look forward to it, though. It's a great spectacle and a whole lot of fun for everybody. I'm sure we'll have our usual gigantic crowd on track.
I hope so too, Michael, and definitely a spectacle for sure. Thank you so much for joining the show. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you and hear you a lot on Saturday with all those races that we'll have horses and weenie dogs as well. Thank you so much, Michael.
Good on you, mate. Hooroo.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Our next marquee event is California Breeders' Champions Night on Saturday, July 27th, with $600,000 in purse money on the line. The Governor's Cup Futurity will be headed by fastest qualifier Favorite Jesshoff, while the Governor's Cup Derby will feature top sophomores, plus the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap for top older horses, and the Rolling A Ranch Matron Stakes for distaffers. It's going to be a great night of quarter horse racing. The best of racing always at Los Alamitos.
And we're back here on the show with Chris Wade. And Chris, you had another good weekend of handicapping here at Los Al, including a horse that you gave out, right, last show?
Yeah, we gave out a horse. We liked the horse. We gave him out as a nice little prize play. And he got the job done. It's one of those kind of horses that you keep playing them until they get home, because the second you get off of them, you say, no more 4 times enough. Guess what? The first time you get off of him, he's gonna reward you with a win, and that was the case with the horse last week. So he broke well, and he got his distance and got the job done.
And I was running around quite a bit last Sunday, wrapping up the thoroughbred meet. And as I went through the winner's circle, you kind of like told me, "Hey, your ticket hit." And I forgot about that. My early pick 4 ticket, $40 play, ended up returning over $200. So thank you for that update, because that certainly made my night. And I was waiting to see how Kevin's Wise Corona would do on Sunday night. That was my radio play on a local radio station show that we do out here. And Kevin's Wise Corona also came through. So it was a good weekend for me, Chris. I'm happy to hopefully continue the top selections here on this weekend coming up. Who do you have for this weekend to play?
I'm going to give a horse one more chance. Just a quick update with your Kevin Wise Corona. He broke through the gate prior to the race, and 9 times out of 10, they don't win. He won handily, and he'll be one to watch next time. There is probably a Professor G horse to watch once again. But I'm going to give a look to the 6th race, Try Harder, a horse who's got a lot of ability. He's a trouble-prone runner deluxe. He had a good amount of trouble last time, and should have won the race. A horse who had a good amount of trouble in his prior 2 races, unseemly, broke well, and got the big head start on him. And the Try Harder, despite a troubled trip, was flying late. Almost got him anyway, but he'll get there on one of these nights. Hopefully, it'll be this coming Saturday night with a decent getaway. Try Harder.
You know, this horse had a little bit of bad luck a few races ago when ran 3rd. Ended up getting moved up to 2nd in that race. And before that, 2 previous starts, his first 2 career starts, Ansi, slow, floated, bumped early. That was this runner's maiden debut. And then the next start, he was off slow. So it ended up running 2nd. So the ability is certainly there. Then comes back and crosses the wire 3rd, gets moved up to 2nd. And like you mentioned, last out there, again, a little bit slow leaving, but then comes flying to finish 2nd. So all we need, Chris, is to turn that bit slow to just solid, and this horse could be right there, right?
Yeah, this horse got, like I said, a ton of talent. He came off a 133-night layoff. He worked very nicely prior to his last start. I gave him an A-. And last time he got fractious once again. He broke slow, was bumped back and crossed, lost over length, but finished very strongly. The blinkers come off tonight. So this horse, with a decent getaway, definitely the one to hold off there as your probable deserving favorite in that 6th race, 2nd leg of the late pick 4.
Well, here's that replay from June 2nd, race number 7. And tell me again, where is Try Harder breaking from in that June 2nd event?
Yeah, he's coming out of post number 6. The winner's going to come out of post number 2.
There it is, post number 6. You can see I'm moving around just a little bit. Walk me through the race, Chris.
Okay, he's like you said, got a little fractures in the gate as per usual. The gate opens up, and he broke slow. And slow into stride. He's a length and a half back. But watch this horse finish on his own under just a light hand shove. Finished like very, very strongly. Almost caught unseemly on the inside, who had a good amount of trouble in his couple previous races and broke on the lead that night. But this horse, just a decent getaway, makes him the one to beat.
That race was definitely won at the break, right? Because the inside horse breaks.
Yeah, it certainly was.
And Try Harder was just, like you mentioned, a little unsettled there as he was getting ready to leave the gate, and just broke just a little bit behind. And look at the way he's just flying out here. Now, for a second there, it looks like he's going to get to the wire first, but the inside horse being rewarded for that better start.
Yeah, he got not out at the wire. One jump past the wire. His winner galloped out very strong. Like I said, the blinkers come off. If this horse can just get out of the gate just a little bit better, it could be very difficult to deny there as your probable deserving favorite in that 6th event.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for that nice selection. We'll be rooting for that one to get home once again. and continue that nice streak that you've been on, because it seems like every week I am putting that graphic up there. You continue to select winners as well. We got to remind the fans that this Sunday, Los Alamitos will be bringing in the simulcast of the Rainbow Futurity from Ruidoso Downs. That gets underway quite a bit early. I think it's like around 4-ish. So go to our website, losalamitos.com, if you want the exact post time for that one. But we will be simulcasting the Rainbow Futurity here. And thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for the viewers for sticking around with us and continuing to be the best fans in all of racing. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend, Chris. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Our next marquee event is California Breeders' Champions Night on Saturday, July 27th, with $600,000 in purse money on the line. The Governor's Cup Futurity will be headed by fastest qualifier favorite Jess Hawk, while the Governor's Cup Derby will feature top sophomores, plus the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap for top older horses, and the Rolling A Ranch Matron Stakes for distaffers. It's going to be a great night of quarter horse racing. The best of racing always at Los Alamitos.